Hey, all, my name is Kurt, and I'm here with Trenton. Welcome to SLB Basement Bourbon Bar. And today, Trent, we're going to do something just a little bit different. You, my friend, had a great idea.
I don't know if it was my idea, if we came up with this idea together about a year and a half.
What was your idea?
I came across a note on my laptop, not a pad of paper, that was from about a year and a half ago. And I figured since Bourbon Madness is over, we're back to our regularly scheduled programming, that we would try this idea out and see what it was all about. And it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
It was very hard, man. He had an idea to pick 5 of our favorite bourbons not from Kentucky.
That was a tall order.
That's not. I thought it would be pretty simple, but once you start reading labels and you figure out that a lot of these, where they're sourced from, there's ties to Kentucky and all over the place.
Kentucky or MGP.
Yeah,
and
sure.
MGP's fine. But with my selection, I think with your selection too, just looking at it, we were hoping to get a little bit more diverse in the regions and states and everything like that.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't distilled in Kentucky, it was distilled at MGP. Right. And a lot of the brands we like and have talked about previously come from MGP. So we wanted to get a little bit more diverse of a selection here today.
Yes. And Trenton, as you know, there are probably thousands of wonderful craft distilleries all over the state. So if there are if there are some on this list that you feel should be replaced by something else that you know of in your state that's just fantastic, we'd love to know about it.
Yeah, we can travel and go there and check it out. I like to travel.
Why not? So if you have suggestions for us, let us know. But Trenton, for tonight, I want you to get started first with your list, if you could.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've talked about this distillery a ton on here, and not because we don't like it or anything, and I actually do like their products quite a bit. I drink them every so often, but it is the Journeyman Distillery they are in Three Oaks, Michigan, which is about 30, 45 minutes.
It's not far from us. Yeah, that's pretty close, 30, 45 minutes.
And this got on my radar after we learned that Journeyman was doing some kind of complex or distilling complex or something in our hometown, which is going to be 15 minutes away. I think it opens.
Yeah, maybe later this fall or even the first of the year. I think they're trying to get it by this year yet, but we'll see.
Okay. So I realized just now that this is actually the Last Feather Rye, which
I love. I love that rye.
This is actually a Benny's
really
pick.
Good.
Thank you to Jay for hooking us up with this Benny's pick. But their Corsets, Whips and Whiskey, I think.
It's hard to say.
It's a tongue twister. That won the Ascot Awards last year. So after that was announced, they kind of got on my radar a little bit more. I know Kent has some really cool matte black label that
Silver Cross, I think it's called.
That's right. And then I think you gave me like the Kissing Cousins one.
I did.
That I do like.
I do remember that now. Yeah, I forgot all about that one.
When you gave it to me, I was like, this isn't very good. And I kept going back to it because it was one of the first things that you gave me, and I just wanted to see if I could find the nuance and the enjoyment in it, and I did.
Yeah.
But Journeyman's doing some really cool stuff. They are a smaller distillery, and if you see any of these in your area, I haven't had one that I haven't enjoyed. They might not be the best bang for the buck. Sometimes I think I've seen them go for like $65, $70.
Okay.
I'm like, I wish this was more like in the $50-ish range, but the juice is good, and they're doing some really cool stuff.
Sure.
So.
All right, we're trying my first bottle. I'm going to stick right here in our home state of Indiana.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Old 55 single barrel bottled in bond. Of course, bottled in bond. It's 100 proof, and it's going to run you about $75. But for this bottle, I don't think that's too bad of a price tag because I really, really love this bottle. This one, to me, Trenton, has some beautiful sugary sweetness, some burnt sugars or something like that. But as this bottle opened up and I tasted a little last night, it really has a wonderful cinnamon note to it. And I don't mean like cinnamon for spice. I'm talking a legit sugar cinnamon, like your mom used to make for you when you put cinnamon toast.
Yeah, she used to eat a bite out of it every time. The cinnamon toast tax.
That she did.
This smells pretty cinnamon.
But that's what it's like a cinnamon toast, like sugar cinnamon.
That's nice.
And I really love it. I think it's great. Doing great jobs down in Newtown, Indiana, Old 55.
Not Newton.
I said Newton last time I got grilled. I'm incorrect. Newtown.
Yeah, come on. You're an Indiana guy.
I got to say it right.
Well, my next one isn't Indiana or Michigan, but it's coming out of a smaller distillery that's kind of getting some press maybe recently, but a lot in our Discord. It is Frey Ranch. They are in Fallon? I think Fallon, Nevada. And it's cool because if you've heard of farm to table, that kind of thing, they are going grain to glass. So they grow all their own grain. I believe this is a 4 grain. It is distilled from 4 slow grains. And like I said, they grow all the grains that they use on site. And it's to me, the profile of this is almost older tasting. I don't know if it has something to do if they're doing specific grains or the climate in Nevada. I know nothing about the West really, but when I drank this, it just seemed like it had been aged for a lot longer than I think it was. The viscosity was still kind of on the lowish side, but it was really enjoyable. It's 90 proof. The only unfortunate thing is that they're not in Indiana. So you ended up picking this up in Vegas, and I've gotten a couple samples sent to me, and we're actually doing a barrel pick with them next week.
Yeah, that's
going to be cool. I'm excited to see what else they have to offer.
For sure.
And hopefully, if they're watching this, you should come to Indiana soon.
For sure. All right, buddy. My next bottle's out of Tennessee, and I'm going to go with Chattanooga whiskey. I've got a few bottles of Chattanooga over there, 3 I think, but this one I think is my favorite. It's cast strength. It's the Chattanooga 111.
I didn't know they had a cast strength one.
Absolutely. Cool. And what's neat about this is that it does have roughly around 75% corn in the mash bill, but everything after that is malted. So it's malted rye. And I think it's honey malted barley and caramel malted barley.
I knew about caramel malt. I didn't know they had a honey malt.
Yeah. And to me, but this one's only 2 years old too.
Oh.
That's the kicker there too. And it's about 65. No. That was about $50.
Okay.
Roughly about $50.
It's not bad.
But when you sip it, you think 2 years, it doesn't taste youthful at all to me. It really doesn't. I get beautiful baking spice note and some honey notes, But what I love the most is that barley note that I get in there because it's been malted in a few different ways.
Well, now you made it sound really good, so I got to pour it right now.
It's not like you would think when I say I love the barley, the note, because I love Scotch. It's nothing like that at all.
But I wouldn't like it.
No, you wouldn't. But it has that to me is what gives it the complexity and gives it its foundation is that barley note that's back in there that you'll find.
I can almost taste some honey. I don't know if it's because you said it out loud. It's a little bit like of a dark chocolate bitterness at the end, that's actually really nice.
Yeah. Neat.
I wouldn't guess that's a 2 year. Maybe I'd guess it's a 4 to 5.
Yeah, it's not old, but you definitely would never say that's a 2 year. I wouldn't.
Mm-mm.
So
that's not bad for a price too, because I know Jim Beam did a 2 year for like $80.
Wow.
Yeah, getting a little bit up there.
All right.
My next one might get a little bit controversial on this one, but this is the John J. Bowman single barrel, or really any of the John J. Bowman products or Bowman products. I get a little bit confused with their naming. What does nomenclature mean?
What do you throw that on me for?
You don't know? Never mind. So this is triple distilled in Virginia, and then it is actually owned by Sazerac, which owns Buffalo Trace. And I think after they do the distillation process, they send it up to Kentucky to get barreled and bottled and all that good stuff. It definitely has that Buffalo Trace kind of profile to it. I think this one in particular is 100 proof. Yep,
it does.
Which I like that proof bump compared to the 94 or 90 proof of the regular Buffalo Trace. I think it's really enjoyable. The only kicker is that it's getting a little bit more difficult to find as the bourbon boom continues. I think people may have kind of learned that Bowman is very similar, if not better than Buffalo Trace in some cases.
It's really good. I see the small batch every once in a while.
Do you?
But I don't hardly ever see the single barrel on the shelf.
Okay. So. Yeah, I've seen the port finish once, and I've seen this one once, and then I've gotten a couple other ones sent to me, which is really nice of the people who sent those. But this is really solid stuff, really good for the price if you can find it. I was trying to go with stuff that was rarely available, but I couldn't pass this one. It was too good. It's
excellent, for sure. All right, Trent, out of Ohio, I have Middle West.
I forgot about those guys.
Yeah, we did a video on all three of these double cask collection series, but what I have for you today, Trent, is the sherry cask finished bourbon. It's 6 years old. This is a 4-grain, too, by the way.
It is?
Yep. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's corn, wheat, rye, barley.
I love these. I'm surprised I don't remember that. All right.
Yeah. It's 97 proof, but it is about, another one's about $75. But for me, this one is well worth it as well. This is exceptional. It's a very, very nice bourbon. And when I speak, and I've done it before and I've said it before, but on finished bourbons, I love a finish that rides that line where it's not too much and it's not too little. And that's what this is. You still get the goodness of the bourbon, but yet that sherry finish provides these beautiful fruit notes, like a bright cherry and plum flavor in there that's just dynamite.
Yeah, I do love the double cask collection. I actually found myself going towards that pumpernickel rye a little bit more. So I did actually kind of forgot about the sherry, but that is a great bottle.
Yep.
All right, next up, I'm going to go with the Old Elk. This is actually the wheated bourbon. This is our pick, but I think anything that Old Elk is doing is just incredible. We've done a couple picks with them now, and this one in particular is, I think you said it in the Bourbon Madness, it's just like a pecan praline kind of situation going on. Super sweet.
Beautiful, nutty.
Apart from the, what is that, the Widow Jane Decadence that has that really upfront maple flavor, I haven't gotten that kind of flavor, like concentrated sweetness flavor from a bourbon apart from this one and the Widow Jane Decadence.
Yeah.
So Old Elk's based in Fort Collins, Colorado. They're doing a ton of stuff. Actually, the master distiller at MGP went over to Old Elk. And I think they're starting to, if not fully kind of phased over from MGP distillate to Old Elk's distillate. But anything I've had from Old Elk is fantastic. They do a ton of stuff. They just had a cigar cut come out. I don't know if you tried that. We tried that when we went to Colorado.
When we went there.
Yeah. Their finishes are great. Their ryes are great.
They are.
I love anything that's coming out of Old Elk. So if you haven't tried them already, but I'll say this. I haven't had a product from Old Elk that I wasn't a fan of until I tried that Infinity Blend. It was okay. It's $160. I've gotten quite a few questions about it, if it's worth it, if it's not. I would say maybe pass on it. It's not worth $160. If it was $60, $65 maybe. Right. But pushing that $150 price tag, that was unfortunate.
It needs to be pretty special to be at that $150 level for me.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, buddy, I got to give a shout out to my good friends in Texas who made this possible, because we don't see this stuff up here. But I've got this Still Austin Cask Strength, Trenton. I had to get it in there. When we did our show, What's Up with Texas Whiskey, I had collected some, and it just wasn't getting the vibe. It was, it was forward, direct, a little bit funky, But we had a ton of you help me out with wonderful suggestions, and a few have even shipped me bottles, which I so appreciate. This one was given to me as well. And now I do have a few that I like a lot, but this one is my favorite.
Okay.
This one is fabulous. It's about $65. I think it's 118 proof. But ride with me on this one a little bit, Trenton, okay? I was sipping a little bit of this last night, and I know I surprised you just a touch, in preparation for the video. And you take it, and I'm thinking the sweetness that's coming from it, because it does have some char in there. It's got some earthy notes that balances everything. But the sweetness, it seemed to me like the filling of a pecan pie. But if you made the filling and added some maple syrup to that filling when you made the pie, a maple syrup pecan pie. That's kind of what I got out of it, dude. It's that good, man.
I didn't expect you to go there. That sounds like something I'd say.
And it's another 2-year.
Am I rubbing off on you?
It's another 2-year-old bourbon too. So, but you got the heat, the climate, and everything down there in Texas. But I really like this one. I really do.
I can't say I've eaten. What do you call it? Pecan filling?
Pecan pie filling, man.
Yeah,
the goopy part in the middle.
Goopy. I mean, you should have put that on the show when we did the pies. I haven't had a pecan pie ever. I don't really plan on it. It doesn't seem like it's really my jam.
Never had a pecan pie.
Please don't.
Easter. Easter's on its way.
No, please don't. But I will be interested. I'm going to try that after the show. I'll be interested to see if I can pick up on that. No, you should go outside of the box on those notes more often.
You think so?
That's a good one.
I thought long and hard about that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I got to give you credit.
All right, what do you got for your last one?
You went with something.
And intentionally, I let you go first because I've got a humdinger for my finale.
I got to rip you a little bit on that one. All right. My next one also comes from the South. It's not from Texas. It's actually from Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know if this is fitting in the camera. Hopefully it is. But this is ASW is the distillery, and this is the Fiddler Heartwood. Again, this is one of our picks, but we've had picks from Total Wine. We've had their Amberana finish, which is a little bit cinnamony. Yeah. And what is it? Their Chin Music. A couple other ones that do rise as well. And I haven't had a product from ASW that I haven't been a fan of just yet.
Oh, good stuff.
Well, the Chin Music wasn't my favorite. I was kind of disappointed by that one, actually, so I just lied. But the Fiddler ones are my absolute favorite. They're a little bit pricey. I think they're $80-ish, depending on the state, the store, that kind of thing. And they're not in Indiana just yet, which is another bummer. But I think this is 2 to 3 year old bourbon, and it's just so concentrated. To me, it gives me like macerated cherry kind of notes. With the viscosity, it kind of knocks out that bitter oak tannic stuff that you might get from a younger product, because this is a pretty young product.
Yep.
And it's just very well rounded. The viscosity is great. The caramels, the vanillas, that kind of thing. You get a little bit of like a barrel-y kind of note, and just the fruit flavor, the concentrated fruit flavor. It's like one of those.
It's great.
Well, it's like a toaster strudel filling kind of thing, but not as sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good.
Very, very nice. All right. For my last but not least, Trenton, I'm going to the great state of Canada for this Found North 17-year.
Did you read my text? This is a bourbon show. That's not a bourbon.
Well, all right.
Canada's not a state. We're off to a good start.
Just go with me a little bit. I got this last week at Benny's, right? And I've been seeing a few things about Found North. All right. So before y'all, I know some of you probably already put your comment in there. Hey, you idiot! Canada's not a state. I'll take it. That's fine. I realize that, but I had to get it. I had to get this in here as soon as possible because I really loved it.
Okay.
And what okay. So you have a little bit of understanding of Canadian whiskey. The issue and the problem that a lot of us folks here in the U.S. have with Canadian whiskeys, which there are some that are great, and I have some Canadian friends, and trust me, there are some of your products that I really, really like as well. But for most of the bourbon heads here, the issue they have with Canadian whiskey is there's really not a whole lot of rules. So you can add coloring, you can add flavorant if you wanted to, you can add a lot of things. But let me just tell you a little bit about Found North, okay? This one, this company, there is 0 additives whatsoever. So no coloring, no flavoring, 0 additives. It is also non-chill filtered. So they're a little bit more quality driven. Okay. Now, this particular bottle has 5 different whiskeys in it that were aged from 16 to 27 years old. All right. Oh, wow. There's 3 higher corn, and I'm going to say in parentheses, bourbon type whiskeys, because they're all higher corn. But there's also 2 rye whiskeys in the blend as well. All 5 whiskeys were either aged in a Hungarian oak, American oak, and ex-bourbon casks.
Okay.
So another reason, right? Of course we know it's not bourbon. I'm sorry I put it in here, but I put it in here because I really, really liked it, and I poured you a little bit over there. So I want you to take just a little sip. We don't have to get into all kinds of tasting notes and everything else.
There's 3 glasses down here with various items in it.
Why did you put 3?
Let me smell yours. Okay, this is one.
Okay. All right.
I think, right?
It should.
Oh, no. Yeah, I think it's this one. All right.
All right, just take a little sip. This is your first sip, right? Mm-hmm. All right. What's your thoughts?
It's like the oiliest thing I've ever had.
All right, now the particulars. It is 128.2 proof, and it is $150. So let me say that. There's other products I saw at Benny's as well that weren't as expensive, but this one I was intrigued by for the age statements, the blend that was in the whiskeys, and I've been hearing a few things about it as well. But let me just tell you something. That sip is fabulous. Without getting into a lot of tasting notes, if you want to see more of these products Found North, let us know in the comments, because I would love to get a few of them and do a proper review. But
is this the only one you have?
That's the only one I have. But let me just say this: for $150, that is a bottle I would pay $150 for.
That's pretty good first impression.
It's really that good, and I'm super impressed that it's quality-driven product too. So I just wanted to get it out there so everybody knew about it.
Because it's that good, maybe they'll let you live it down, but
maybe not. I'm sure some won't.
We'll see.
That's okay. That's all right. I understand that. I'll take it. But I hope you enjoyed it. I thought
very
good.
good.
I thought it was great. So we'll get into a little bit more some other time. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, that's all we got for you today. Once again, if there's others out there, and like I said at the beginning of the video, we know there's thousands of great craft distilleries in all states around the country.
Yeah.
We can't get them all. We can't know about them all. So hey, if you got any of them that you think might be better than what we have on the bar top, we'd like to know.
Yeah.
As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly. And we'll see you next time right down here with Trent and I in a good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.